find myself this morning thinking about masculine men, and I guess really contemplating this started a few years back when I had that intensive coaching for 6 months with Matt Schaefer, and my goal became to really get in touch with my feminine side, because I'd been living in my masculine most dominantly for almost all of my life. Tomboy, and also my mother was a very masculine woman in her demeanor, in her actions, everything. So my modeling was, I had no idea what it meant to be feminine. I mean, there's yin and there's yang, and the yin is supposed to be the feminine, and it's receptive, it's yielding, and I think I was raised that a lot of these things are negative. And Matt, taught a lot about leaning back and into your feminine, the playfulness. I can't do it justice to try and explain it, but to allow myself to be led, because the masculine leads, and I've been leading myself through my life kind of because I had to, for so long. Anyway, I found, by not trying to control things, by leaning back, by allowing, there's a difference between being a doormat and being in your feminine completely, because there are certain roles in the feminine that are, supportive, and just like in the masculine, there's supportive roles as well. But I think almost like of the feminine is the place where the masculine is safe to replenish. It's like a nourishment. Anyway, so I found myself thinking about the masculine man this morning, and how, being led is not to give up any sense of control or power. And I don't like, there's give and take, there's take, but there's give and receive, and that's a totally different dynamic. It's different than power, but empowerment. There's empowerment in submission. There's an empowerment in allowing someone else to be the best part of themselves and to show up for you. And honestly, most men that I've ever met and known, they want that. They want to help, nurture, fix issues. Sometimes that fixing things, is not what a woman wants. But anyway, it's all well-intentioned. And so as I have leaned back and let myself receive, I'm finding so much more abundance in what I'm being offered and given. And it's really given me the opportunity to feel, for the first time in my life, really feminine, and and to know how grateful the masculine are just to be able to be themselves. And yeah, so to lean back, to allow, to in some cases submit, is not to give up my sense of self. In fact, it has nourished my sense of self. And I have received so much nourishment from this position. So, and I mean a man who's very comfortable in his masculinity, one that doesn't have, some horrific sense of guilt or shame about his masculinity, someone who's just basically, reasonably healthy and confident that their person is, worthy of at least not having terrible things happen, at least worthy of a reasonable life. There's nothing to do with arrogance. It's not about arrogance. Arrogance is insecurity manifesting in a different sort of negative, toxic way. So someone who is arrogant, that's not confidence. That is not confidence. Someone who is confident doesn't need to make other people feel small. Yeah, that is not confidence. So I was just thinking, yes, the kind of things that I've received, and it's joyful for me to be given support and to allow someone to make a difference in my life. It's empowering, as well as satisfying and nurturing and all of those things. Like, I was given a very large salmon. I was given a hard hat full of chanterelle mushrooms. There's a lot of real, masculine men in Holberg, BC that, are out of touch with the mainstream woke culture that has taught most of the young men and middle-aged men that they should feel guilty about their masculinity, or that it's something negative, which it is absolutely not. I believe the distortion of masculinity that I grew up with through my mother, that it's aggressive, it's unfeeling, which is just so opposite of what a real man is. Any man I've known well, almost all, 95%, are very, very feeling, very compassionate, very sensitive. And for the most part, that emotion is moderated, by sensibility or some sort of wisdom, or at least some sort of recognizing that you can't always let your emotions run amok. There's times when you have to get shit done, and maybe that's stemming back from lions, tigers, and bears, because if you lose your shit when a woolly mammoth is there or whatever, you're dead, and so that's not useful. Maybe that's something that's left over in our humanity, in the masculine, sense. And maybe adaptability is left over in the feminine, because, I believe there was a time that if we had multiple offspring, that we just wouldn't survive on our own. We needed our tribe and to survive. If you're a lone hunter, maybe you can survive, but a lone female with multiple offspring, not likely to survive. So I think women have adaptability. In this day and age where concept of masculine and feminine is almost being obliterated. I just want to put out there that having discovered the balance in my own life has brought me an incredible, increasing sense of peace and satisfaction, and kind of like this, like, that's what I was supposed to do. I just wasn't taught, you know. I had no idea. I was like anti-programmed. I had no idea. Anyway, that's my road vignette